What is up, guys? Heath with Lake Champlain Sanitation here, and on today's video we're going to be talking about the residential side, there it is, of our business. We got some new carts in. These are in staging to go out. Got a few in the truck ready to go out this morning, meet some new customers. I know we talk about dumpster rentals, junk removal, and residential on this channel, guys. I get a lot of comments about the residential route, and the reason I don't talk about it so much is every part of this country, and the world for that matter, does trash differently. So how I do it here may not be how you guys can do it in a city. As a matter of fact, I know you can't do it like we do it in a city, because I've talked to you guys where a big company will have a contract in like a metro area where there's, 500,000 homes. I'm in rural upstate New York. So just remember that, guys. Like, we have maybe 80,000 people in a 50-mile radius. So some of you guys might have 80,000 people in a couple miles in a city. Or millions, if you're in like New York City and watching this. So just remember that when we're talking about this residential route. I'm going to get into a little bit of like our current pricing, kind of where the competition is, and how I entered the residential side of the business strictly. No dumpster rentals, no junk removal. This is going to be all residential. So if you guys have been waiting for this one, we're going to talk about it now. A little update. We're at 600 customers now, working out a deal where I could get another 100 customers in a quick stint, but it might require me to buy a new piece of equipment. Yes, it's a Packer. But yeah, like I said, guys, we're going to get into how I started residential strictly. If you're looking to start residential strictly, some of the things to be aware of. There is good money in it, but let's hop into it and we'll go from there. All right, guys, so this video is all going to be inside, so we don't have to listen to that loud diesel in the background. If this is the first video that you guys are watching, that yard that I was just at is actually my property where I live. This is the first thing I want to start out with. If you guys are living in an apartment complex or you're in a really tight city area, your first battle that you're going to face is, where are you going to run this business out of? Forget the trucks, forget the dump trailer, the dump truck, the garbage cans, the marketing. If you don't have a place to run this business legally, where I was running out of, right next door to me, there is a large commercial dealership of farm equipment, just, to give you an example of how rural it is. And I actually just recently got into this office here. It's pretty old school and plain. But now I have a much bigger outdoor space, but I ran it out of that small lot that you guys saw for about a year. Before that, I was basically running it out of some parking spaces in the apartment complex. I rented some parking spaces with my rent. I don't think I've ever mentioned that before, but that's how I got initially started in the residential side of the business. So yeah, you got to find a lot, or you got to find some outdoor storage space for where you're going to park your truck, unless you're going to use the one truck. Say you have like a pickup truck and a dump trailer. If you live in a rural area, most townships will let you have one dump trailer at your house with a pickup truck. But if you're going to use a dump truck, you're just going to want to check and see so you don't get fined, or have it off the road where nobody can see it, because if it's an eyesore, of course you're going to get turned in and you're going to have to pay fines, which you don't want to pay before you even get going. So that about sums it up for I would say, first step in your residential business. Now let's hop into how I got started marketing and some of the ideas of where I got my pricing and where my pricing is now. So marketing will be first, and that's going to be quick and easy, guys. Friends and family, word of mouth. It's free. It's super easy. Tell every friend and family member that you know, and try to get them to tell at least one other person. That's going to get you 5 to probably 50 customers right off the bat. Now, obviously, this is only going to be if you can do the garbage in your area. Now, if someone's got the big conglomerate company's got the contract on lock, well, unfortunately, there's nothing you can really do at this point. Maybe try one of the other services that we talk about on this channel. But as long as you can start up a rural residential business, you're going to legally have that area to operate out of. Once you tell your friends and family, hop on Facebook, hop on Google. You can maybe try some Instagram. I got a small Instagram page. I don't know if I've got any sales from it, but it's still another outlet to get out there. But really that word of mouth, and maybe even a little bit of paper advertising. I mean, I've never done any, but of course that's just another thing. Look at the look at, your local newspaper. I know, paper and print's kind of dying, but just look at that. Look at your local, your home. We have a thing here called like Home Garden Leisure. It's basically about like outdoor projects and home services based businesses. And it gets shipped around to, I don't know, 20 or 30,000 residents a month. locally, but which is a lot here. But stuff like that, guys, is really all you really got to do to market. It's just being patient with it and taking good, crisp photos and being real with the customers when you're taking these photos. I don't like stock photos, so no stock photos. But price-wise, to give you guys an example, when I started this business 3 years ago, my going rate was $24.07 per month, no garbage can included, and that was for weekly pickup. Fast forward 3 years later, my minimum is $30 a month. I do provide a garbage can, which is a big investment, but it looks very professional, and I highly recommend it once you can afford them. They are pretty expensive. They could be anywhere from, with resin right now, you're from $60 to $80 a piece, but do the math on that, guys. Especially when you get into volume. Back then I only had 100 stops. Before I raised any rates. But now a $6 swing roughly a month. On 600 customers, that right there is almost like 40. What is that? 3,600 a month. That's going to be between $40,000 and $50,000 a year just from raising the prices a couple dollars a month on those customers, guys. So some of you guys may say, $24, $30, my local company's $50, my local company's $17. It's all going to go off of your dump fees and your trucking cost, and then obviously your volume, guys. If you're a huge company with 10,000 accounts, you might be able to operate at a slightly lesser rate per month and still make it up on the margin because you have the volume to do it. So take all that into consideration. My pricing is just for my area, where the competition, some of my competitors are at $25 a month, some are at $24 still, plus tax. Some of them are up towards $50 with the automated trucks. It all depends on your level of service and what you provide. So take that into consideration when you listen, to the prices I just gave you, and really pinpoint what your fixed costs are going to be in your area, and then call around, get some competitive rates, and I would say put yourself in the middle. I don't agree with coming in and slashing the market unless you have a ton of money and you can lose a ton of money up front, because I've seen a lot of companies just in the last 3 years try to come in and do that, and they only last a few months because they don't have the cash flow to keep themselves going yet. So be careful of that when you guys get started. Lastly, guys, I want to sum this video up with the pros and cons of the residential side of the business. So you've got your lot, or first of all, you've found out you actually can operate and start a residential trash business. You've got your lot, you've got some marketing materials, you've told everybody. I would recommend equipment-wise, guys, to just start out with a pickup truck and a trailer, or an old dump truck. You don't need a garbage packer right off the bat. It's going to be messy. It's going to be physical, but save yourself. I'm not going to go into equipment in this video. I've gone into it in a lot of videos before, so you guys can check that out. But a pickup truck with a dump trailer, or an old dump truck with some built-up sides on it is all you really need. As long as the garbage isn't flying out of it and you either make a roof or put a good tarp system on it, you're going to be good to go. So you got your marketing, you got your truck or trailer, you've got your lot, like I said, and now you're ready to go out and hit the streets. So what are the pros of the garbage business on the residential side? Well, number one, it's reoccurring income and it's semi-recession proof. I can say that we really didn't lose much money during COVID. I will say that I had friends in a lot of other industries that did. So just, that I would say the reoccurring revenue is the number one pro of the business. And when you're doing it by yourself, it's actually pretty relaxing. You're out there, nobody's really talking to you unless a customer comes out and says hi or has a question for you. You're riding around in the truck, you're your own boss. Which is pretty cool. And a guy can make a living. I'm not going to say he's going to be buying yachts and Ferraris, but you can make a living and support a family once you get up to that 350 to 450 customer range, depending on what your rates are, of course. But a one-man operation, you can live on that. You can drive a decent truck and take a small salary from the business and survive. Like I said, you're not going to thrive and go wild, but you could theoretically be to that rate or that level in 3 to 5 years into business, and start it up while you're working another job in the beginning, as long as your boss, as long as your schedule allows it, I should say. Some cons of the garbage business, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. It's disgusting. It's really nasty when you don't have a garbage packer. We still don't have one. Probably going to need to have one here soon as we're getting bigger. I think we're at that breaking point now. We could probably do 7 to 750 without one, but anything over that, we should really start, considering buying one, if not, getting one before. It can get dirty when you're doing it physically, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, you're out in the elements. The other thing is you're really married to this business. I mean, it's 52 weeks a year. You don't take a week off from the garbage business. You have to pick up the trash. Now, if you're gonna have employees, that's a whole nother video. I mean, you're gonna want to get your numbers from in a whole different way. But yeah, I mean, you're gonna, expenses, let's talk about that. You're going to have dump expenses. You're going to have flat tires you got to think of. You're going to have insurance costs. You're going to have fuel. You're going to have, if you have to rent a space, you're going to have that. I mean, so there is a lot of expenses with it that comes with the reoccurring revenue. So just be careful not to dive in too deep until you have enough of that reoccurring revenue that, let's say you lose 10 or 15% of your customers due to either, a new competitor comes into town, or, something happens to you and you got to pay somebody and the customer service isn't as good because you are paying somebody that's not up to your standard of quality. Run your numbers very conservatively if I were you, if you're going to take out any debt or anything like that. But yeah, guys, I mean, short and sweet video. Hope you guys liked it. Just a little breakdown of the residential trash side of my business and how it got going and where it's at now. And if you guys have any questions, you can book a coaching call. And been talking to you guys from all over the state. I appreciate it. It's the Calendly link is right in there. You guys can pick a time and we can chat on your startup and go one-on-one. And any questions you guys have, I can answer them on there. And any comments and likes and follows, I appreciate, guys. So have a good one, and we'll see you in the next video.